Welcome everybody, my name is EruptionFang, and this is episode 2 of Nomad of Nowhere, titled Bliss Hill. Now the first thing we get to see in this episode is a bit of world building. A lot of this episode does that, at least in this general area of their world. The Oasis seems to be the utopia of Don Paragon. He seems to be the leader slash ruler slash whatever his title is. He seems to be a bit of an aristocrat with his fancy clothes and the upper class and whatnot. He wants the Nomad because, much like a YouTube commenter, wants to be first. He wants to capture the Nomad before anyone else does. He described the Nomad as being his meal ticket. If that is what I think that means and he just intends to trade the Nomad for food, then I don't see the effort. Don seems to have plenty of money and water, so if that is what the meal ticket means, then it just seems a bit odd to me. It could have just been a choice of words that doesn't mean that, and he just intends to exploit the Nomad's powers. But I don't know. And that's not the only thing that seems odd to me. The second thing that was strange was the Nomad's new bounty. To entice other bounty hunters to hunt him down, Don updated the Nomad's bounty and upped the price. So, question comes into play, did Don set the original bounty for him? Or was that someone else? Because Don's wanted poster looks nothing like the original wanted poster. Not in terms of the Nomad's looks, but in terms of the design of the poster itself. The original poster doesn't have Don's seal on it nor any writing on it. The two look completely different. So that made me wonder whether or not there is more than one person who could place a bounty. Something like someone had the original high price, and if the Nomad was captured and delivered to this other guy, then they would get that reward. But if Don quote-unquote outbid the original bounty, then the capture would be delivered to him. I don't know if that's the case, but it's the only explanation that makes sense to me, because if I'm not mistaken, the Nomad already had the highest bounty. So if Don upped the bounty, then why? He's already the most wanted being in nowhere, so what's the point of upping the already highest bounty there is? Granted, I know absolutely nothing about how bounties work. I'm just kind of under the impression that the law places bounties on people. It's like a universal understanding. Could be like that, could be some sort of competition, or Don Paragon is just an idiot and increased the highest bounty again. Also, back to the whole world building thing, it seems that people get paid in water. Unless gallons is actually the name for their currency, water appears to be how Don pays people. You know, that seems to be reinforced with the old guy taking the water, as well as the town that the Nomad comes across. Water seems to be the thing that people need and will work for. There is this weird confliction as of now where to get water, people need to pay for it, but also people seem to get paid in water. So, I'm sure that will get fleshed out as episodes come out. The other half of the episode took place in Bliss Hill. It's a small town apparently of only like 8 people, and the Nomad stumbles across it. The water wheel is broken, and the kids believe that the Nomad can use its magic to save the town and restore water. It does not work as he loses control of the wheel, and it destroys a chunk of the town and runs off. Alright, I didn't think we'd be learning this much about the Nomad's magic this quick. So the Nomad is only capable of bringing things to life. According to himself, that is the only thing he is capable of doing magic-wise. Secondly, it seems that he prefers to keep the things that he brings to life at a small scale. At first, it seemed like that he was only capable of bringing small things to life, but now, I think that's more of a preference. He wasn't capable of controlling the wheel when it began to lose control. He couldn't take his magic away. I'm not sure if he is capable of reversing his magic. So far, the only time his magic has gone away was when his creations die. So, I'd imagine that he is capable of giving life as well as taking it away. So it seems the Nomad's control over objects gets weaker the larger the item. And there doesn't seem to be a limit in terms of where they can go. The wheel just left the town and hauled into another direction without dying. It didn't reach this threshold of distance before the magic wore off. It seems indefinite. So I think once brought to life, they stay alive until they die, unless the Nomad is capable of reversing his magic, but was just incapable of doing so because of the water wheel's size. Something that did make me a little upset in the moment was when the Nomad said he's never killed anyone. I was immediately like, oh man, but then I just thought, well, what's that classification? Is it like, oh, I've never killed anyone, but my creations have, you know?
Ever killed a man?
Yeah, no, I can't imagine how you could possibly kill anyone. Could be lying, could also not have a memory. I'm still on that train a little bit. We also have a new bounty hunter coming into play. There's nothing really I could say about him right now. I'd imagine we'd see a lot of new and unique bounty hunters get introduced as the show goes on. I'm curious as to whether or not they'll be mainstays and be recurring, or if they're just hurdles the Nomad has to keep overcoming. You know, one bounty hunter gets dealt with, another takes their place. It's hard to imagine how the bounty hunters would get dealt with, considering that the Nomad, as he said, doesn't kill anyone. But honestly, this series seems to be going how I hoped it would. There's a lot more story, relatively speaking, to that of the first episode. We learned what the Nomad could do and what he couldn't in terms of his magic. We got introduced to Don Paragon and got a motive for his character of why he's doing things and what he's like and how he likes to be the first to do things. The Nomad did of course get into some antics, which I'm sure will be a recurring thing among each of the episodes as they go on. Toth and Scout, all they had were dialogue this episode, showing that they are on this sort of path. You know, they also don't have to be in the thick of it all the time. The series is showing that it can have dialogue and tell a story, that it's not going to solely rely on the zaniness of the Nomad and just random scenarios to keep the series afloat. It's telling a story and expanding the world, and honestly, this episode left me a lot more excited for the series over the first episode. So you can expect to see more Nomad of Nowhere videos from me in the future. So for now, be sure to let me know what you guys thought of the episode down in the comments. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're interested in more content like this, consider sponsoring me on my Patreon, it's only $3 a month, follow me on all social medias, and I'll see you in the next video.